First-time members share experiences so far as the 10th House of Representatives proceeds on 6-week recess. House pledges support for organ donor legislation. And House probes job racketeering in civil service, issues warrant of arrest. The House of Representatives is on recess, but committee meetings are ongoing as usual. So we bring you details of engagements of the House Ad Hoc Committee investigating job racketeering in civil service, plus our regular segments, of course. And thanks for joining us on You and Your Reps on the NTA. I am Victor, as welcome. It's been 6 weeks since the inauguration of the 10th House of Representatives in June, with new members gradually learning the ropes. Theresa Mishanam, who has been speaking with members on their experiences so far, tells us more.
Members of the House of Representatives are on recess after 6 weeks of quickfire beginning to the 10th House of Representatives. You and your reps sought to know what the opening 6 weeks have been for the first-time members, and the responses have been varied. Some, however, say activities of the House so far inspired hope for their constituents.
This is National Assembly, and we observe a bicameral legislature. And here, you see that we have about 8 parties, political parties, on board this time around. It's not the regular 2-party system. And everyone is struggling to deliver for their constituents. So you don't just sit here and fold your arms, believing that anything will come to you. Whatever you want for yourself, whatever you want for your constituents, whatever you want for Nigeria, you will struggle for it.
There's something unique about this institution. You have the opportunity to employ, to engage 8 senior legislative aides, legislative assistants, and legislative aides that will assist you in carrying out your functions in the House. So with my experience from banking and being able to work with people from other spheres of life, we'll be able to cope. And with that experience coming into the House and with the aides that I'll be able to employ to work with me, I'm sure that we will do very well.
For others, the support and cooperation of other members, particularly the presiding officers, has made the journey so far smooth, while making it easier to get along.
By interacting with people from different backgrounds, it's making me very, very happy the more, because I'm learning. I learn every day. Anytime I sit at the floor, the persons close to me, we interact. And I learn new things. And to the glory of God, I'm here to serve my people. I'm here to represent Nigeria. I'm here to make law. And anything that will help the people, the nation Nigeria, I'm here to support it.
The House of Representatives resumes plenary on the 26th of September 2023.
The House of Representatives leadership has pledged support towards necessary legislation for the establishment of an organ donation bank in the country. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu gave the indication during an audience with a delegation of the Transplant Association of Nigeria.
Scarcity of organ donors is a worldwide challenge. Nigeria is said to be gaining grounds in the number of successful organ transplants done in health facilities in the country. Records, however, revealed that the nation still loses more than $1 billion to medical tourism annually, owing to gaps in organ transplantation alone. This is why the enabling legislation is being solicited by the Transplant Association of Nigeria.
So what they are doing in other parts of the world now is to have a disease donor program. And you're aware that for us to do that in our country, there must be some legislative backing. We must have the right laws in place to be able to carry that out. And so, as a member of that committee in our association, I decided to come here to speak to this house and to let you know what our plans are, and to let you know that very soon we'll be coming up with a draft on disease donor organ transplants in Nigeria.
The leadership of the House assures that it will not withhold support for laws that will reposition the health sector as well as enhance the well-being of Nigerians.
It could be Disease Donor Act, which is going to allow people while they are alive to pledge to donate their healthy organs to save the lives of those who are living. We assure you that we are eager to join forces with your association to tackle the complexities surrounding organ transplantation in Nigeria.
The assurance of legislative backing is what the Transplant Association of Nigeria needs to set the ball rolling in anticipation of a bill for an act to establish a deceased donor program in the country.
And the House of Representatives has condemned the abuse of recruitment waivers granted to MDAs by Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, alleging that some agencies hide under such waivers to commercialize personnel recruitment. Chair of the House Ad Hoc Committee investigating employment racketeering, Yusuf Gagdi, who stated this during the hearings, which involved several agencies of government, identified recruitment waivers as impediment to open recruitment in the country. We bring you details of the hearings, which has led to issuance of warrant of arrest on a person of concern.
Let not our gestures suggest anything to Kolo Haruna, please. We will give him a field day to tell us what he knows about himself, particularly as regard to his employment status, his activities and role in Federal Character Commission, and any other agencies of government. Mr. Kolo, I yield the floor to you.
I was the staff of Federal Character Commission prior to the appointment of the executive chairman as chairperson. After the resumption of office, she appointed me as her protocol officer, which I carry out my duties diligently and with utmost respect to her office. One of the allegations levied against me is job racketeering. She instructed me to liaise with one Shehu. The Shehu is a driver, is a PA to Taraba Commissioner, and he's here. As a desk officer of IPPS HR module, I'm responsible of taking whoever is recruited in federal character to IPPS for capturing. So you will not go there until when you have letter by the executive chairman or the director of HR. But when she came, she wrote a letter to the Accountant General then that any correspondence that is coming from Federal Character Commission should not be attended to unless if she's the one that signs the letter. So whenever there's new recruitment, she signed, she gave me the names, then I'll take it to Accountant General before the new this will be captured, the new staff will be captured. Sir, the Shehu is the one that brought people, so many people, like almost 25 of them. One will pay 1 million, the other will pay 1.5 million, all to my personal accounts. After which, she instructed me to give her the cash, all in cash installments. There's no transfer, there's nothing, just for me to withdraw through POS, from this POS to that POS, cash installment, and take it to her. I was never at any time involved in selling jobs to anyone. I only acted based on instructions, sir. The second allegation is my appointment to AMCON. My subsequent appointment to AMCON was a result of her personal favor to me. We were 4 in numbers. She gave the appointment letter in AMCON. We all proceeded to interview at AMCON headquarters, Abuja, after we were all called upon for training and induction in Grand Pella Hotel. That's 16 January 2023. After the completion of the training, I and Ibrahim Olushola were posted to Lagos, which Rafiu was in Abuja. Unfortunately, Khadija Bukola Bello, which was her sister, her own biological sister, was rejected due to her age, as she was above 50 years. After Kajia rejection, the chairperson personally taunted and accused me of being responsible for her sister's rejection by AMCON.
I've not in my life asked him to collect. I don't even know the secretary. I don't know the driver. I don't know the driver that they are talking about. I've never set eyes on the driver. Quran is here. I've never in my life.
Stand up and scream.
It's here. Ask him to give me 1 naira. It's here. All what he does for me is when we are going to the airport, he buy ticket for me. He said he comes to my house to give money. He does not come to my house to give money. If I ever collect 1 naira from this colo, may Almighty destroy what I've worked for.
Is it true that for any approval you grant, man, for waiver, that head of service also get 10% of such allocation?
Before you answer that, let me remind all of you that we are under oath.
I want to categorically state that the office of the head of service renders service to MDs, and we do not request for any kind of percentage, either 10% or 1%. We do not. In fact, the first time I heard that rumor, I called the director and the permanent secretary in charge of that, in charge of waivers, and I told them categorically that I must not hear that kind of thing anymore.
To give us the data of those agencies, ministries, and departments of government that have approached you for a budgetary approval. That have approached you for a budgetary approval that will assist in helping this committee to discharge its functions, and any other information that you think will equally help the committee in the course of discharging this mandate on it. By the time you assist us with those informations, if there is time, which I believe there will be, for us to interface critically in some of our findings that will require your input or clarifications before our report is laid to the House of Representatives, we are going to do just that.
The mandate we are saddled with is basically the waivers and approval he has issued to MDs. That's just what we want from you.
The payroll module is really, that's almost like a front end of the system. But in this case, the way IPS was implemented, we implemented the front end before the back end, and that created the gap that has been exploited over, over the years. When they finish this, what the head of service is doing now, it will be a lot more difficult to, perpetrate any manipulations in the system. And I think at that point, it will be germane to separate the enrollment from payrolling.
Having vested with the responsibility of having the personal requirement of all the agencies before preparing budget for them. This is a document we need that will help us. When interacting with the agencies, they equally give us their payroll. We should be able to put it at par with what is generated from your office to discover the imbalances, with the view to giving recommendation to the House of Representatives that will ensure that we have tied all the loopholes. So it's just to emphasize that give us those documents we require. If there is any responsibility you discharge in terms of approval, like Chief has equally emphasized, you put them together to us, maybe between tomorrow and next, so that we study them. When we interact with some of these MDAs, where we need to see you and ask questions to give us clarification on your document vis-a-vis the one submitted by other agencies, we will gladly require your presence. adjourn and ask him to appear the next day. He didn't. We called on him to appear yesterday through his agency, AMCOM. He's nowhere to be found. We hereby adjourn to write to the Speaker of the House of Representatives to issue a warrant of arrest in respect to Haruna Kolo and compel his appearance before this committee. Thank you.
One of the most important functions of the legislature is oversight. What does this imply and just how important is it? We spoke with former chair of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fulata, to shed light.
For example, the Committee on Appropriation is in charge of all budgetary issues. Once the budget is laid by the President, it is taken over by the House. It will be referred to the Committee on Appropriation. It will now schedule a meeting of the Appropriation Committee, and then all standing committees will be issued notice on when to invite ministers and extraministerial departments to appear before the various committees in charge of those ministries to defend their budgetary estimates. So, after they might have defended the budgetary estimates and appropriate amounts have been allocated for various projects, there will be a time when each committee will now go out to empirically verify the existence of those projects executed with the money so appropriated to them. It's part of the oversight. The ministers, before the appropriation will appear, defend the capital and the current budgetary estimates before the committee. Then, after the approval, the committee will now go out, each committee on education, committee on interior, committee on environment, committee on a lot of 100 and something committees. They now go out on oversight to now empirically verify the existence, how the money so budgeted are utilized. They will come back, write their report, and lay report out for final decision.
45 ministers designates have now been confirmed by the Senate. So we asked ordinary Nigerians to indicate what sectors of the economy they would like to see given priority attention. Let's hear them out.
First of all, we should look at security. Security in Nigeria should be taken paramount. On the basis that without security, nothing drives. Then the second area we also like them to look into is the area of infrastructure. If you watch, even right here in Abuja, I can assure you that within the past 8 years, no new district has been developed in Abuja.
I pray that these people, the Minister of Health, shall be minister to stand and know what is going on in the hospitals. Because when you go to general hospitals now, nothing to write on. How can somebody have accident and have problem? They say unless you bring doctor's report. Because of it, they will drive on to private, and which the person cannot be able to pay.
The most important thing is let them have a blueprint. There's a plan, there's a charter. Let them go back to that charter and read, okay, this is what I want to achieve, this is what I want to achieve. So at the end of the day, they make deliverables and they can be able to tell that, okay, this was the things I was able to achieve when I was a minister.
They are supposed to have a teamwork, work together, and then make sure that lives and properties are secured. That is the most important and vital thing they should focus on.
And still on the ministers designate, we engaged with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, House of Representatives, Kunle Ibrahim, to give us an assessment of the incoming ministers and the working relationship between the executive and the 10th National Assembly.
The President of the Federal Republic has sent his nominees to the Senate, which by the Constitution has the power to screen and confer them as candidates for ministerial appointments. You will see that even though the President designates me as SSA to him in the House of Rep, you will see that I feature prominently in the Senate. This is because of the new working relationship we have. Of course, there is SSA Senate designate, which is distinguished Senator Gume. You see that practically we've been doing things together. This is just to ensure that we leave no stone unturned, and ensuring that because the Senate is working assiduously to ensure that they finish this job in time. You will recall that the Senate ought to have gone on their vacation. And from the finding, it looks to me like the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the only parliament sitting as at now throughout the world, and it is just principally because of this assignment. You equally recall that the normal sitting of the Senate is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But because of the renewal, because of the new way of doing things, and because to meet the yearning and aspiration of Nigeria, the Senate sat on Monday, sat on Friday, even sat on Saturday. And now they are back again sitting on Monday, which is total different from what we've observed before. And you see that all of us, the SSA to the President, Senate, and my humble self, were out there assisting the Senate in discharging this responsibility. You can see that the spade is not only fast, it's consistent. And it shows the commitment not only of the President, but of the Senate and its appointed aides. And you will see clearly the pattern of the nominees of the President, exactly what he did in Lagos, bringing young people, 30, 35, 38, 40, from nowhere, people you don't even know, bringing them from anywhere, and trying to build them to be able to build this country. I feel so honored that I'm part of this system. I feel so honored that in my lifetime, we see this happening. And I know our youth will now have a place to say, this is our country, seeing what is going on today.
I guess the new ministers are raring to go, and of course, Nigerians also can't wait for their positive impact. And that's been you and your reps for this week. We thank you for watching. I'm Victor Azo. See you next time.